What's up, world? Lee here with Sticks, Strings, and Other Things, my teeny tiny little corner of the internet where I come to you every other week to chit-chat with you about all of the crafty things that I've been getting my hands onto. Today is the 27th of May. That is the day I'm filming this. This is episode 108. I'm coming to you from a very sunny, and it's gonna get hot, Pacific Northwest. We're supposed to be in the 80s tomorrow. That would be Fahrenheit, obviously, because if that was 80 Celsius, we'd all die. But no. 80 Fahrenheit. And yeah, that's going to be warm. I brought some fans up. I'm ready for it. Starting a little bit later in the day today because I had to go visit a vampire and had to do that this morning. I am drinking some tea, of course. This is in my Farmer's Daughter's Fibers mug. I am drinking some tea from Plum Deluxe. It is creme brulee Earl Grey. So there's the tea. There's the label. It's really tasty. It has black tea, orange peel, jasmine flowers, blue cornflowers, bergamot oil, because it is an Earl Grey, and vanilla extract, which is what gives you the creme brulee-ness. I really like this one. In the month of June, Plum Deluxe is having Earl Grey month. Yes, it is. So if you love your Earl Grey, and you like some loose leaf tea, you should check out Plum Deluxe. Not sponsored. No. I just like their tea. They have some good Earl Greys. They have one called Picard. Because of course they do. It's tasty. I have it. Enough about tea. I mean, there's never enough tea. Let's get into the projects. What have I been doing the past 2 weeks? Well, there's going to be some sadness. I will let you all know that now. Bit of a tale of woe because counting is hard. Basically. But let's start with the positive things first. I do have some finishes. I have finished my Sign of 4 socks. They're living in this lovely little drawstring bag from Fat Squirrel. I love her bags. And that was a new version she was making, and I like it. So here are my Sign of 4. Sorry about my throat. It's all weird today. And there we go. You can see some different pooling right at the point where I did the gusset, but yeah, that's fine. And yeah, Sign of 4. This was the Buxom Knits yarn in the colorway One-Eyed Willy. And I did a 64 stripe sock. Followed mostly the directions for the pattern, Sign of 4. I did like 18 rounds of 1x1 rib. I don't know if that was called 4 in the pattern. It's just a lovely textured knit. And I like them. And I think I stated before, I was surprised they striped like that. It's pretty, but I didn't expect it to stripe like that. But those were my May yarn. And I finished them in May. So 5 months in, and I am still going strong with my monthly yarn subscription. If you're new here and you wonder why I put subscription in the quotes, it's because my partner for Christmas put together a monthly yarn club for me out of my own yarn. So it's delightful. Also, if you're new here, I hope you find something you like. Hopefully I can motivate you or encourage you or tempt you to start something or finish something. Not that I'm a finisher. Shh, we're not going to talk about that. And if you are a returning viewer, you know what to expect, more or less, I think. Anyway, back to those finishes. I've hardly had any tea today because vampire visit. I'm going to sneeze. One moment. Yes, vampire visit. So it's later, and I'm running on less caffeine. Not a great combo. Finishes. What were my other finishes? Right. Oh my goodness. I have a 100 stitches a day project. And that just means that every day I pull it out and I stitch on it for 100 stitches. Give or take. Sometimes it's a tiny bit more because I'm like, I only need 4 more stitches to finish this spot. And so I do. And the last one that I'd pulled out was Wicked Plant by Barbara Anna. I'm dropping my clips because, you know, I'm a professional. gonna use my board today because I want to. Wicked plant. I finished it. It's all done. It was close to done anyway. Ain't it lovely? So when I pulled it back out, I finished up all of the flowers, which you can see a lot better in real life. And I filled in this motif and that motif, and then there's these little yellow spots inside the flower, and also a couple of stars in that color too. So I'll pull it forward. Okay, you can't see the white on the screen, but in real life you can see it. Anyhow, there is a wicked plant. All finished up. Hooray. Made me feel good. So that meant I had to pull out my wheel, and I had to spin for my next 100 Stitches a Day project, which I did. And I finished it too. I finished it today, before I visited the vampire. And I did go slightly over 100 stitches to finish it today because there wasn't enough to keep it going. It was like 50 stitches extra. It wasn't worth it. Anyway, the next one I pulled out was Absence and Desire by Forbidden Fiber Company. This was a kit from them, so I just used all their flosses. And there we are. It began with Desire and, nope, Absence and Desire. It began with Blood and Fear. It begins, oh, sorry, I said began. It says begins. It begins with a discovery of witches. And then I did all the alchemical symbols. And there we are. Ta-da! So that means I then pulled out my wheel and spun another project to start for my 100 Stitches a Day project. I haven't started on it yet because, like I said, I finished Absence and Desire today. So that's 2 finishes in the cross stitch world and 1 in the knitting world. I'm feeling pretty chuffed. Considering how the rest of this is going to go, I'm going to ride this high a little longer. Okay. Let's get into the whips, of which I have a few. Andrew the Running Stitcher is prepping for a marathon, and he's going to run it because running stitcher, runner stitcher, running marathon makes sense, right? This girl don't run. But I am joining along with his Whip into Shape stitch along, and that just means I am stitching the number of miles he runs a day times 10. I'm not doing it every day, I'm doing it at the end of the week, so I'm doing it on Sundays. And so I'm through Sunday, a couple days ago. I joined up with his Sal because I thought it would be fun, and I pulled out one of my older projects because the old ones need love. I find it very easy. All I do is go to his Google Sheets doc that he has. I look at the end of the week and I go, oh, he says I need to do whatever number of stitches it is, a couple hundred, and I do that on Sunday. I pulled out Thriller. This is Thriller by Sampler Cove. I should probably show you the chart first. Oh my gosh. When you're running on low caffeine, nothing works. Thriller by Sampler Cove. It is on an unknown 40 count fabric, and I am using 2 Vicki Clayton silks, one of her Oh My God reds and her basic black. And so there we are. I finished up these guys here, and then I started coming in here with these red little toppers. So I'll continue those. Those red toppers are also bottoms, and so those bottoms will go here, and then you also fill in the red in the centers of these blacks. And then I will do this band here, there, and that band will be finished. I'm hoping that during his Sal, I'll be able to finish this band. I have no clue how many stitches it is. It's a paper pattern, so I have no clue. Maybe I'll get farther than that. I don't know, but that is my hope. I probably will. I mean, I'm already that far. It's only been 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know. What is time? I don't know. It's really lovely though, and I'm quite enjoying it. And Thriller is getting a lot of love this summer, and it needs it. because it's an old project. Oh goodness, I need all the tea. I also have my Monday motif a week project, which I do on Mondays because motif starts with M. This is And a Forest Grew by Rosewood Manor. Like, it starts with an R. This puppy. So good. So good. I am doing this on a Cedar River linen in Albarium, using all of the called for DMCs, of which there are oh so many. I have another. There we go. And I don't even have flosses on all of these yet. I'm getting there though. I'm getting there. Isn't that a monster of a thread thing? It's a thread monster. This is a thread monster. But it's so pretty. So I have done a couple of motifs. Sometimes when it's a smaller motif, I'll do a couple of them. I also got some new printer stuff, so I've printed out a working copy. I can now easily move between pages, which I was having a hard time doing before I did that working copy because, well, you know, it's a booklet. And when you have a booklet, it's really hard to go from page to page without ripping the booklet apart. And I didn't want to rip the booklet apart, so I just made myself a working copy. I feel like I've done so much on this year. And it's just this tiny little corner. Look at that tiny little corner. Itchy nose. So I finished this tree, and then this squirrel, and the tiny little mushroom tree next to him. This is a 40 count, so I'm doing it 1/2. Everything has been 1/2 except for Absence and Desire, which was 2/2 because I think it was a 32 count. Yeah. Isn't And a Forest Grew looking just so pretty? I love all those trees. I do love them. All the greens. It may be a faff to work on because you have to switch colors constantly, but it's worth it to get these colors. I just, Rosewood Manor. She is amazing when it comes to color. That's all I'm going to say. Absolutely amazeballs. And I'm loving it. So there's that one. And I zipped up the bag. That was foolish of me because this needs to go back in. There we go. What else did I work on? I don't remember. Yes. I worked on A Mind Independent and Free by Carriage House Sampling. I had to do, I don't remember, 2,500 stitches on it. Whoa! Luckily, that's the one-page chart, which means no one can read it. What I should have done is that. There we go. A Mind Independent and Free. This is on an unknown linen. I think it's about a 40 count-ish, depending on where you're counting it. It's a very loose linen. I'm kind of struggling with it. You have to be very gentle when you're working with this linen. I don't know who made it or where it came from, because if you pull too tight, it's really rough. It's a really rough linen to work on. However, I am also using a Vicki Clayton's conversion, and the silks are lovely on it. You just have to use a gentle hand, a very gentle hand, in order to not just rip this fabric apart. Goodness. I wonder if I'm gonna do any fancy editing so you don't have to see me fuss with my board. I don't know. Maybe this is why I stopped using the board when I have so many projects. Because this takes a while, and I don't want you all to be bored. Alright. She's getting pretty long, isn't she? Look at that! Oh my god! I was somewhere in here when I picked it up again. So I finished this part of the verse. I did these nice little goth flowers. They are not as I changed the color on the flower. How's that? Oh my goodness, I couldn't remember. Charted, that was the word I was looking for. Then I came down here and I finished this part, did this one, did this part, and I have continued down the alphabets as well. So it says, no glory I covet, no riches I want, ambition and beauty are nothing to me. The one thing I beg of good heaven to grant is a mind independent and free. Then there's my name, and it says, my name is my name. My name is my name, did you know that? And with my needle and then ran out of time. Worked the same, is what it's going to say. But yeah, there we go. I have to go all the way back here to get it all in, and I still have more down here. I have plenty of room on this fabric, but I've definitely made a huge amount of progress on this one. So good. Ah, ain't that pretty? I don't think it could get finished when it gets spun a bit again, if it gets spun this year. I still don't think I'll be finished with it because I still have a giant house to do down here and another one of these sections of motif. So I don't think it'll be finished the next time I get it, but oh man, I made so much progress this time. It felt really good. But yeah, let me see if I have the pattern again. So I am in this section of words right here, so I need worked the same, those flowers again. Then I have this house, then I have this work complete, and then I will put the date that I complete it, and then I have these birds motif again. So between the house and all this, that house is bigger than I think it is, I'm sure. I'm imagining I would need more than my 2,500 stitches, which is what I think I have to do for this one. But there we are. A mind independent and free. It's looking good. And now it can go away because I've finished it for this round of spins. What else did I work on? Where is she? There she is. No, there's no. I'm missing one. I will be right back. I am missing my Dark Queen. And I worked on her, and I don't see her. So I will return in just a moment. Apologies. I'm back. I found my Dark Queen. She was just hiding from me where I store my projects. So my Dark Queen was spun. This is Dark Queen of the Forest. Earth. I think she's Forest, but I always call her Dark Queen of the Earth because the first one was Dark Queen of the Sea and not water. And so this makes more sense for me to call it Forest instead of Earth. But I think the real name is actually Dark Queen of the Earth. No, Forest. Whatever. It's Autumn Lane Design. I got way behind on the stitch along because I started it late, I think, or I just didn't keep up. And then when the face came out, I was like, I have to make choices and I don't know how to do that. So I put her away. And I still have to make that choice, but that won't happen until next time I pull it out because I have finished through part 7 now. That was a little bit more stitching than I was supposed to do according to my wheel and rules for this year, but it's a minimum of stitches, not a maximum of stitches. And I wanted to finish part 7 because it was really close. Here we are. Here is my Dark Queen. So I finished this entire spirally wood thing. Come here. So, all of that. She's looking good, isn't she? I love her. She's good. I'm doing this on the called for green fabric from whomever dyed that green, and what the name was, I don't remember. Under the something? Under the sea fabric? I don't remember. It was the called for, and it's the green called for. I lost that piece of paper, and I don't remember what it was. So I'm using all of the called for colors, which is mostly just DMCs, but there's a couple of Krynex, except they're not Krynex, there's Petit Lame. I have a little there. Next up will be part 8. When she gets pulled again, when she gets spun again, I'll be doing part 8, and part 8 is where I'm going to have to make some decisions. I already know I'm going to choose to do the green color of skin, because you have 2 options, you have green or brown. I'm going to do the green, but I don't like the way her face looks. so I need to change it. I don't like the yellow things coming out of her eyeballs. I don't like that. And so I need to rechart that area. I think I'm just going to put her hair down and just take out the things. And maybe do some less harsh backstitching on her face. I don't know. I don't know exactly what I need to do, but yeah, some of that. And I will be doing the Free the Boob version. There's an option to give her another covering. And yeah, last few years it's been tits out all the time for me, so hers will be as well. She's looking good. And I'm really happy I keep pulling her out. I think she's come out twice this year now. Go wheel. Go, good job. Yeah. But yeah, next time it's going to be the face. And I need to make choices on how to do it. This is lovely. It is on I think it's a 32 count. And I'm using all called for, like I said, and therefore it is just DMC's 2/2, except when I'm using the treasure braid stuff, which isn't treasure braid, it's silk lame, and then I'm just using 1. Under the Sea Fabrics, because I also got the beads. Under the Sea Fabrics, that's who I got the fabric from. But I don't have the name of the fabric. But I did get the beads from Under the Sea as well. And that's living in here, and it can go away until she gets spun again. Exciting. I have 2 more whip projects to show you, and then we will get on to new starts and all that jazz. Living in here is my current BAP, and it is Gamer Nouveau, which is artwork by Medusa Dollmaker, and this was charted by Gecko Rouge. This was my birthday start 2 years ago. And I didn't get very far on it. And all my BAPs are going to be 5,000 stitches this year. I do not have my 5,000 yet. Here's where I am. I pulled this out and I had 0.43% done. I'm now at 1 point something percent done. So I have 1% done. You can see some flower stars, a couple stars there. That's all I have, is just a corner. Doing this on a diagonal, as you can see. And that's all we have. I think in 2 more diagonals, I actually get to a corner of something other than these colors. But I'm not there yet, and I don't know how much. I have like 3,000 more stitches to do. A little over. So I'm hoping I will get to something more than just this background, which is pretty, but I'm getting kind of tired of that blue. This is 1/2 on a 28 count gridded fabric. Uses DMC. It was kitted by Gecko Rouge. It uses DMC, but they do not give you the color numbers for their DMC. It's just on their chart as this is color number 12, and it's a DMC. Supposedly they give you plenty of fabric, not fabric, but floss. I mean, they give you plenty of fabric too. They give you plenty of floss. And worst comes to worst, if I run out, I can just match it to the DMC myself. But here we are. I did get the digital copy of this after I purchased the kit because that makes it a lot easier. Also, I know exactly how many percentage points I am in. How many? Singular ones. I don't even think I'm going to be at 5% when I finish my 5,000 stitches. I think I'm going to be somewhere like 3. But there we are. That's all she wrote. Not very exciting, but I am still working on her. Clunk. And then we're going to get into our Tales of Woe. We have a couple Tales of Woe this time, and this will be the first. This is Weeds and Wildflowers from Artsy Housewife. This was Carolyn from Evertote's birthday stitch. Was it last year or the year before? I don't remember. My brain is blanking. I want to say last year. And I started it, and it's so pretty. The colors are gorgeous. I bought the whole kit. Here's all the Roxy Flossco colors. They are just lovely. As you can see, I got the whole kit, including the bag, because the bag matches so nicely. Here is Weeds and Wildflowers. So pretty. I did get the 40 count Buttercup from Roxy Floss Co. And now I can start discussing my tale of woe. There must be much frogging on this. There needs to be a lot of frogging on this one, sadly, because I can't count. And I did a lot of work on this with bad counting. And I didn't notice until I'd gotten like almost 2,000 stitches in. Or 1,000 stitches in. I don't remember how many stitches I'd done, but I'd done a whole lot. And then I realized how much I have to pull out. And it went into the naughty corner. It is still going to be one of my 5 that I have out until I fully frog everything and then restitch everything that I need to restitch. And then I can continue counting. So, here's where we're at. Isn't that lovely? It looks really pretty, doesn't it? Yeah. I need to frog from this line here, all the way over, and all the way down, and this. All of that needs to be frogged, because this flower right here has 4 leaf separations, so 4 layers of leaves, and it needs 5. It needs 5, like all of its buddies. But no, I didn't give it 5, I gave it 4. Which means everything's too far in. Which means it's not all going to fit. I can't fudge it. I looked. It won't work. It doesn't fit. So I need to frog all of that. And that. Counting is hard, people. Commiserate with me. Just commiserate with me. And I just tossed it in the bag. I was so angry. Because I got down here and I'm like, it's supposed to be over here and it's not over. What did I do? And I had to figure out where I was, where I made the mistake. And finally when I figured it out, it was this first one. Of course, it's the first one. The cursing. The air turned blue. Oh, the cursing. There was so much cursing. I'm still upset. I am still upset because this is so pretty. And I really felt like I was moving really nicely on it. I really felt like I was just flying and I had all this done and sulk, mope, sadness, tragedy. Oh. So yes, all of that needs to be ripped out. And I'm just going to take a seam ripper to it. I think I have plenty of floss, like just looking at the amounts I have. I should have more than plenty enough floss to be able to do that. I'm just going to take a seam ripper to it, though. It's going to hurt. And I just haven't had the willpower to do that yet. Maybe the next time I'm on a Zoom call, I can just sit there and pull up my seam ripper and go to town. Maybe that would be less painful. Oh, God, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do it. Oh, so sad, though. But isn't it pretty? Isn't this just a lovely piece? And if I would have counted correctly, wouldn't it be gorgeous? I would have started in on the little moth guy here. I was getting all excited to start it on him. I was like, oh, I'm almost done. I just have to do a couple of flowers and then I can start it on the moth and that'll be so good. No. Denied. Not allowed. All frogs now. All the frogs. Frogs for days. So there's one of my tales of woe. It's a huge tale of woe, too. That's a huge woe. Woe. Just so much woe. So sad. So sad. Where did I put my bag? There it is. But yeah, if you look, there's not going to be enough room. They're just going to get too squished together. I've lost too many stitches. I've lost like 5 or 6. And there's just not enough room to lose 5 or 6 stitches in this piece. Just, put me out of my misery. So, much sadness, much woe. And is that the last of my whips? It is. Yes, that is the last of my whips. So now we will get into new starts, which is also slightly a tale of woe. We'll get to that one in a little bit. My first was I had a new start in the stitching world, and I decided, you guys helped me figure out which one it was going to be, and it ended up being Red Mermaid by RTO. She's stuck. There we go. It was a kit. So I'm doing this lovely lady. I'm doing it all on the kit. So the called for navy Aida cloth in, I don't even know what size, 14 count probably. I don't know. And I'm just using the fab threads that came with it. I think they're DMC. And yeah, it's pretty. Yes, it is DMC. It says so right there. Look, DMC. And since it's a kit, all the flosses are on cards for me. And since it's Aida, I don't even know if I need to use my board, but I'm going to because that's what I've been doing today. I was working on her hair. I found the middle of the fabric and then I counted up so I could start at the top because I like to start at the top. And began in on her hair. So that's all I have. I have 2 colors of hair and I think one of the blends. So there she is right now. She looks a little creepy. So this is where her face is going to be. And then that's all her hair. There's her shoulder. You can kind of see the outline of it now. And then her hair blowing in the wind. And I have scuzz on this fabric. I did, what, 1,000, 1,500, something like that, stitches on her. I don't remember which, because she was a new start. And doesn't quite look like much yet, but it's going to, and I love it. I do love how you can kind of see vaguely where she is, like her face and her arm. It was really fun to work on, and I was enjoying it a lot. Even though the Aida is a little on the stiff side, it's not body armor, but it is a little on the stiff side. I'm finding it fine to work on. And the dark color is fine as well. I just have a nice bright light. Yeah, she's gonna be so pretty, isn't she? Look at her. So yeah, you can see some where her shoulder is and then her face. But I'm working on all that lovely hair. She's so good. But she gets to go away now. She's now on my wheel, so she can be spun. But until then, she goes away. What else? Oh, I have 2 new starts in the knitting world. Let me show you the first. Let me see if this works. Hello. I am working on the Aerosmith shawl by, who are you? Pip and Pin. That's the shawl I'm working on. Don't know how well you can see it. I started this handful of days ago. I'm using some yarn I purchased at Madrona, except it's not called Madrona anymore. I forget what it's actually called now. I bought 3 skeins of a DK from Sea Change Fibers. I bought their Littoral DK, which is Falklands Merino, and it's just the softest, luscious DK yarn ever. I bought 3 colors, and so I searched Ravelry to find a 3-color shawl. And then I started this one because it said it was a 3-color shawl, and you barely used the 3rd color, which made me a little sad. But I was way too far in to rip it out. And I do like the shape. I do like, it's pretty. Anyway, so here I am. I have finished all of the first part, which is done in this lovely raven colorway. Just a simple triangular shawl. And then right here, you can see that blue. That would be my first contrast color. And then I'm working on this red with this fun pattern here. I don't know how well you can see it in the camera. There it goes. It's so good. It's going to be this neat chevron using the floats in the front. And that's just pretty. I wish you guys could feel this shawl. It is so soft. I am using some Hiya Sharps, a US size 6, which is a 4mm needle. And I'm just doing exactly as called for. So it's going to not be a very big shawl. This is definitely not a Stephen West Schlanket. This is just a normal normal size shawl, but it's going to be perfect for like tucking in your coat in the winter, and with it being this soft, it's going to be lovely to do that with. But yeah, so this blue right here, you can barely see. Yeah, I get to do that again when I finish this chunk of red, and that's all the blue you use. 2 garter stripes. That's it. I should have looked closer instead of just going, oh, I've got the right yardage and it uses 3 colors. Perfect. And then just starting. Oh well, I will have most of a skein of DK weight blue. Maybe I'll make a matching hat. I don't know. It's so pretty. But yeah, it's just a nice little shawl. And I have some stitch stoppers on the end. Little bats, because they're cute. And it's really soft. It's very soft. It is living in my Fat Squirrel fiber bag. And I love it. As you can see, I got quite a bit done on it already, since it's not a very big shawl. And also, I have been enjoying working on it, and it's going really fast. There's not a lot left to do. I finished that chevron. I do another single garter ridge stripe in the blue, and then I do a little bit longer, and then I do like 4 rows of a stockinette stitch, and then I do some garter ridges for the bottom. And I'll be doing those in the main color, that nice black. And then that one will be done. So it'll be done soon. And now let me show you my other start. Oh, let me see if I can pull it up too, so you can see what it looks like. I am working on the Solvik shirt by Skein Knits. If I can find her, there she is. So, I'm working on this top. There was a yarn crawl in my area, and I went on it, and this is some yarn I bought there. This is Illuminati Sabri 2 in the color 29, which they're calling slate blue. And let me show you my progress. So here's a ball. Here's a ball. Here's a ball. Here's another ball. And here's a teeny tiny ball. And then here's another cake. So I have that. There's my project. Yeah, I had to rip it out. I had done over half the sweater, half the shirt. I was past the arm holes and going down the body and having a blast, thinking it was great. And then I looked at the directions again and realized I wasn't following them at all. There's this lacy chevron thing in the front for the top. No, that's not what I was doing. I don't know how I created whatever I was creating. I don't know what I was doing. I know how to read a knitting pattern. I've been knitting for ages. I have taught other people how to knit. I teach people how to read their patterns. And I was not reading my pattern right. I was just inventing something. I don't even know what I was inventing. It did not look right. It looked awful. And I just kept going. It was sad. So here's my second tale of woe. I do want to restart this because I do want this nice toss over shirt. It will be lovely, but I am so frustrated at another tale of woe because I can't even tell you what I was doing. It just was wrong, completely wrong. And I don't know. It was just, yeah, I don't even have words. I don't even have words for what I was doing, except bad and wrong and tragic. Another tale of woe. Huh. Maybe I'm seeing something from the universe here, people. Both bags have moths on them. They are sharing the woe. It is a moth woe day. A moth woe month. Much woe. So sad. So yeah, I ripped it all out and need to start over. And I had done so much. And because of how it's built, you have to cut the yarns, which is why I have multiple balls. And since Sabri 2 is, oh, I didn't tell you what the content of the yarn was. It is 85 organic cotton, 15 baby alpaca. So you can't felt these together. This is unfeltable. So you have to weave in the ends, and now I have many more ends and more woe. Just more woe. So much woe. Those were my new starts. One is ripped out and has to be restarted. It's very sad. Very sad. But now let's get to plans. I do have some. I have pulled a new 100 Stitches a Day project, and that is Moonbeam Tea by Ink Circles. I am doing this on, I think, 40 count Scotsman by Bee Stitch Me, using all the called for, what are they? Classic Colorworks. I am doing this 1/2 because it's a 40 count. And that's all I have right now. Some of the stars and the outlines of 3 of the teapots. So I will be pulling this out for 100 stitches a day. It will probably take me a while because I'm not very far. But isn't it pretty? It'll take a while, but it's pretty. Can't wait to get back to it. So starting tomorrow, I will do that. My stitch minder says, nature is a haunted house, but art is a house haunted. My tea, I guess, is haunted. Sorry, there are just lots of sirens. Anyhow, that's just shoved into this little folder one. I should probably find a better, I'm going to find a better project paper right now, or housing option. There. I like this better. Ta-da. Now it'll just live in this book. Everything sticks better when it's zippered closed. Okay, so that is one of my plans, is to have that as my 100 Stitches a Day project. I will continue working on my BAP, which is Gamer Nouveau, and I have, like I said, 3,000 plus stitches. I have Thriller, which I'm working on for Andrew the Runner Stitcher's Whip into Shape, and then I have And a Forest Grew. That is my my motif a week that I do. I still have Tonight We Ride from my spins that I need to work on, and Nova from my spins that I have to work on. I need to fix Weeds and Wildflowers. And then with my knitting, I want to finish my Aerosmith shawl and probably restart my Solvik shirt because I want that shirt, so I should probably get back to it. And I will also probably go back to working on my Amba O'Brien Solstice wrap, but I haven't worked on that this week, but I'll probably go back to that. So that'll be my knitting for the next couple of weeks. I think the next time, yes, definitely by the next time we come here, it will be June, so I'll have my new June yarn. So I will, whatever it looks like, I will decide whether I'm making socks or a scarf or a hat or whatever I'm choosing to do with that. I don't know. So those are my plans. Now there's a tiny bit of stash enhancements. I received my skein of yarn from my barn box. This is a every other month yarn subscription I am in this year. They do lots of different yarn combinations in their yarn, and they're usually bare and not dyed. So what we got this time was this silk camel fingering, and they're calling this colorway Mirage. It is 70% silk, 30% camel. You can see the shine, can't you? It is pretty. And yeah, I have 378-ish yards. I am thinking I'm going to make a Sophie scarf out of this because I think that would be lovely to wear. And it's so soft and silky and drapey. So that is my thought for this guy. I have added him to my stash, and I am still in the negative with my buying and making in my knitting right now. Don't know if that's going to last. Temptation is bad, and I want to knit all the things, and it's rough. So that might be, oh, I'm like, there's something else. What am I forgetting? I got my Fox and Rabbit April. Barely there. I don't know if I showed this last time. This is a lovely color. I love Fox and Rabbit. They have lovely fabrics. I love them so. So yeah, those are my plans basically. Then let's get into a little bit of life. I mentioned that I did the Puget Sound LYS tour a couple weekends ago, this weekend. It was practice for me to see if I could go out and do things without dying, without being so exhausted I have to take a week to recover. And I did okay, except I hadn't planned on going to Olympia to visit family the third day. I did 2 days of things, and then I had to do a third day of things, and third day of things did not go well. But I did do the Puget Sound LYS tour, and I'm going to pause for just a second, and I will be talking about that in just a moment. I'm back. So I went to like 8 stores. And during this tour, you get free charts when you show up at the store, and you see the stores and you get to see what they have, and it's really nice. So Stranded by the Sea, these were the 2 projects you got from them. So this adorable amigurumi owl, and then a cowl that uses doodle decks, but it's all woodland critters. Very cute. Where was it? All Wound Up. There was this vest and then this crochet blanket. It's always one knit and one crochet project at the LYS tour. Puget Sound LYS tour. I bought the fabric, but the yarn that I bought, the Sabri, I bought it to make this vest, and when I downloaded the pattern I was like, this looks like too much of a faff for me to deal with, so I chose not to do the vest after all. But that is why I bought the yarn that I bought. And then I had to find something else to use with it, and I chose the Solvik sweater, and yeah, you saw how that went. I'm trying to not show, because there's codes. There's codes to download these, to get them from Ravelry, and you didn't go, so I'm trying to make sure I don't show the codes off. This one was from Needles and Hooks. There's this lovely sweater here, and then there's a crochet quilt block wrap. This is I think it was a DK project. Was it DK? I think so. Anyway, it's quite a lovely little summer top. I liked it. I had to be careful with this one. They cover the codes. At Acorn Street Shop, there were 2 tops. One was called the Summer Shell, and it was crochet. And then the Breezy Tee, which I think I'm going to have to make. It just looked lovely. It's really hard to see these pictures. They're tiny. But I really liked the Breezy Tee. It just has this nice eyelet design down the side. Lovely. Nifty Knitter had these 2 knit projects. One was a hat, one was a cowl. And then they had a crochet beanie. And those are all the stores that I went to. Oh, I did go to La Mercerie as well, but I don't have those here. And I went to, oh, what was the other one I went to? Heart to Heart Knitting. I don't have those here either. I also went to the Tea Cozy. Well, evidently, I don't have all of the charts that I oh, right. Tea Cozy, I don't have pictures. I just had the codes. That's why. I think I liked the top for the Tea Cozy as well. it was really fun. I'm glad I didn't have to work it, and I'm glad I got to go to a couple of the shops. I figured it would be good for me to go to a couple of the shops so that I knew what they offered, so that when people come to the shop that I work at, if we don't carry it, and I know someone else does in the area, I can tell them where to go, and it's easier for my brain to remember if I've been there myself. Like, oh, you want to do a lot of weaving stuff? Go to Stranded by the Sea. I now know this. My brain understands this. And never drive around Lake Forest Park in Washington State, people. What is up with those streets there? It's a maze. It's chaos. It's without Waze telling me where to go, I'd probably still be stuck somewhere in Lake Forest Park. Also, that name is so annoying to me. Lake Forest Park. Are you a lake? Are you a forest? Are you a park? Pick one. Anyway, I had fun. I will probably never get to all 25 stores, because that's a lot, especially since they go all the way up to Bellingham and all the way down to Auburn, all the way over onto the peninsula. I have to go to Whidbey Island. It's a lot of work to go to all of these, and I didn't do that work. But I did do that. I did run around and look at shops and stores, and it was really fun. Other than that, visited with family. One of my uncles is in town, so went down and visited him with the rest of the family. He and my mother came up yesterday and hung out with them a little bit there. Other than that, yeah, going back to work. So that's cool. Energy levels are doing okay. Gonna visit the doctor again soon, and that's why I went and visited the vampire. If I had my blood drawn. That's all I mean. I call it, I visited the vampires. Because they drew my blood. Nice lady drew my blood today. She was sweet. Did a good job. Even though I have to use this arm now. This arm has the better vein, but I'm not allowed to use this arm anymore. I have to use this arm only. She still did a great job, but man, I'm going to miss the days of easy. Oh well. So, have doctor's appointments in the near future, because of course I do. Because that's what you do when you're recovering from breast cancer. And yeah, that's about it. Like I said, it's supposed to be really, really warm today. Very warm. And then even warmer tomorrow. Like 80s tomorrow. So I think I'm going to spend some time on my deck, probably knitting my Aerosmith shawl. Maybe, if I'm feeling rambunctious, restarting my Solvik shirt. And reading the directions correctly this time. And reading the chart correctly this time. Still don't know what I did. Still have no clue what I did. Other than that, I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing. Taking it easy. Weeding. Doing laundry. You know, regular life stuff. Kind of boring. Watching tons of YouTube, because you guys are great. Love all the Flosstube. Love all the knitting podcasts. Y'all tempt me so much. I hope I have encouraged you in some form here. And I'll be back in 2 weeks, which will be June something. I don't know what. But it will be before the first day of summer, because that's not till the 20th. So I won't have started this project yet, but I have chosen my fabric. This is the Shack by the Shore that I'm doing with the Stitching Owl and I can see her face. She does the ATC cards. Her name is Laura. What's her YouTube channel? I don't remember. It's gone out of my head. Just poof, right out. She's nice. Anyway, we're going to be starting this on the first day of summer. And I have found my fabric. I think this will be very lovely for a shack on the shore. And then there's all my DMCs. So let me actually put my fabric in my bag, because I chose that today. Ta-da! We're done. And that's it. So I will be seeing you all in about 2 weeks. I hope all of you are as safe as you can be, as healthy as you can be, and may your crafting help you with your mental health. We all need it. Drink your water. Hydration is important. And until I see you in 2 weeks, bye all. Happy crafting.